you can use this formula to manifest, like, quite literally anything you want in your life. I want to talk about manifesting today. And is there a process to manifesting? Are there methods to manifesting? The answer to both of those questions are yes, absolutely. There is actually a very simple 4-step process that's proven that actually helps you to manifest anything that you want. And most people don't talk about it. And I don't really know why. I don't know, because they think they're in scarcity. I don't know. I don't know why. But most of the time, people have this they have this idea of manifesting like it's some sort of like magic thing. Like when I talk to people who manifested dream vacations or their dream home or their ideal, like their soulmate or whatever. And they're like, I don't really know. I just kind of stopped worrying about it. And then it came. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what happens. But I don't really like that approach to manifesting. I like a much more deliberate approach. I like to co-create. We start at manifesting, and then when we reach this level of manifesting, then it becomes more of a co-creative experience. But we have to start where you're at. And so I didn't know how to co-create, so I wanted to start in manifesting. And there is a very simple, proven 4-step process to manifesting. I'm going to share it with you right now. So for my own example, I'm going to use money, because everybody wants to manifest more money. I've never known anybody that's like, no, I have enough money. Thank you. And so let's relate this to money. When I first got on my own manifesting path and I was much more deliberate about the way I manifested, I had reached a point in my current circumstances where it was just no longer tolerable. I had had enough of what was going on in my life, not having enough money, and being in constant worry, being in constant struggle financially. And it had nothing to do with how much money we had, because I know plenty of millionaires who constantly struggle mentally with money. And so just like lay down that belief that if you have enough money, you won't struggle. No, you got to lay down the struggle first, and then you'll have plenty of money. But I'd had it. I'd had it with my thoughts. I'd had it with myself. I'd had it with the anxiety and the worry and the struggle and all of that. And little did I know at that time that that's actually the first step in the process to manifesting what you want. You have to have no more tolerance for life as you know it. So number one, you'd had enough. Like life as you know it and life that you've created is no longer tolerable. The second step was I made a decision. And I didn't make a decision to do something different. All right. A lot of times we get mixed up about that and we're like, all right, things have to change. So my decision is I'm going to work 3 jobs and overtime and burn the candle at both ends. No, it's not a decision to do something. It's a decision about something. There is a very, very clear distinction between deciding to do something and making a decision about something. And I decided I would never struggle financially ever again. Like that was the decision. I made a decision about something, and I decided that money was going to show up for me in very powerful ways instead of me going the other direction, which is usually making a decision to do something. But I made a decision about how I wanted money to show up and how I wanted life to show up for me. So that's step number 2. You make a decision. Step number 3, commit to the decision. I decided I would never struggle financially ever again, and money would support me in reaching my goals and in reaching my dreams. Like that's what I decided. I decided life worked for me instead of against me. And I committed to the decision. Make that decision non-negotiable. That is so vitally important that you commit to the decision about how money shows up for you, about how life shows up for you. All right. Step number 3, commit to the decision. Make it a non-negotiable, that no matter what happens, like when I made the decision that I would never struggle financially ever again, we were $1,500 behind in our bills every month. We were in the process of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So I was no longer waiting for the money in my bank account to give me permission not to struggle financially, because that's what I'd been doing. And we had been making $20,000 a month previously, and I was still in financial struggle because I was in massive anxiety that I would lose it. So like I said, it doesn't matter how much money is in your account. If you're not thinking about it correctly, if you're not thinking about how money actually works for you, you will be in constant struggle with it. So I decided I'd never struggle financially ever again, and that money must show up to help me reach my dreams, because I was going to show up and I was going to skill up. So that was what I committed to. I committed to that decision. If you struggle financially, and again, you could be making $10K a month, $50K a month, it doesn't matter. But if you're in any sort of mental turmoil or struggle around money, this will be a game changer for you. Just stop struggling and commit to the decision that money supports you on your way to your dreams. And then step number 4, you've got to think differently and you've got to act differently. So if I was going to no longer struggle financially ever again, I had to start thinking differently. Like, that's where it starts. You got to start with your thoughts and you've got to change your thoughts. So I started thinking about ways I was already wealthy. I was thinking about ways that I didn't struggle, that had absolutely nothing to do with money. Like, I don't struggle. I don't struggle to walk. I'm really blessed. I have a very healthy body. So I don't struggle moving. I don't struggle eating. It's not a struggle to blink my eyes. Like, I got really simple. And some people would accuse me of being a simpleton or dumbing it down, but I don't care. I didn't care. Like, I needed to find other ways that already I lived in ease and I lived in prosperity and I lived in wealth that reminded me that I don't struggle financially, because I don't. That was the decision I'd made and the decision that I had committed to. And I also committed that money showed up to support me. That's the decision that I had made about money. It was always going to be there when I needed it and when I wanted it too. And so when I would pay bills, if I could pay the entire bill, I paid everything in gratitude. I used to pay it all in resentment. I would pay it in gratitude. Thank you so much. We have enough to make the phone bill today, or we can make the phone payment today. When I could only pay part of a bill, I was in massive amounts of gratitude that I could pay part of it. And I would, in my mind, say, oh, thank you, utility company, that you supplied electricity and light and heat or air conditioning for a month before you required me to pay it. So thank you so much for that. This means I'm wealthy. This means money is always there when I need it. This means it's always here to support me as I grow. And I would literally think that, and I talk myself through that, and I began acting differently. I began expecting money to show up for me. I began expecting things to work out for me because I had made a different decision. And because I was thinking differently, I was feeling differently, because your thoughts will always create your emotions and your emotions always influence your actions. And so I was acting differently as well. I was more grounded. I was no longer muppeting around in like anxiety and chaos in my own mind where my money was concerned. It was, oh my gosh, the universe has my back. God has my back. Everything happens for a reason. And this reason is to assist me in my growth and to have more joy. That's what this must mean. God wants me to skill up in a different way. And I'm willing. I'll do my part and only my part, because my part is the fun part. Making a new decision, committing to that decision, thinking thoughts that support me in the reality that I want to create, and then following the behaviors that naturally follow those kinds of thoughts that will then bring in the money that you want, or relationship, or the health that you want, or even that level of spirituality that you're after with God. You can use this formula to manifest, like, quite literally anything you want in your life. You get fed up with status quo. Step number 1, you've had enough. Step number 2, you make a new decision about something. If you want a healthy relationship, I've decided that people show up and speak to me in respectful ways. There is mutual honor and respect and healthy boundaries in all of my relationships. I've decided that's how relationships show up for me. All right. You made a decision about something. All right. Make a decision. Number 3, commit to the decision. It's a non-negotiable. Nope. This is how life must show up for me. This is the decision I've made about relationships. I've made about money. I've made about health. I've made about spirituality. See, you can get it in every single cornerstone of prosperity. I've done it over and over and over again. This formula works for everything. Then you start thinking differently and acting differently. And you do that long enough, and boom, you'll manifest anything you desire. Isn't that great? It's so simple. Now, if you're looking for other ideas and new, different decisions that you can make about how money shows up for you, about how prosperity shows up for you, I got a resource for you. It's totally free. You're going to go to prosperityapproach.com/free 52 Ways and pick up my prosperity guide. It gives you whole lots of ideas, different experiments that you can run so that it will make it easier for you to change your mind about things. It'll make it easier to think differently and then act differently about money and prosperity in your own life. So pick it up, give it a whirl, see what you think, commit this to memory, write this on your wall, put it on a piece of paper to remind you that simple, proven 4-step process to manifestation. And let us know how it works for you, because I know it will work if you'll work it. And until then, remember, prosperity becomes you.